Ya teriak-teriakan dukung RRQ.
Keren. Tapi kakak-kakak di sini RKK nih, hasil RKK.
Betul sekali, melihat perjuangannya pasti gak main-main. Tapi kalau Dita sendiri udah dari kapan nih jadi kingdom setia untuk RRQ?
Aku sebenarnya udah lama sih, tapi kayak nonton ke MPL itu baru ke stake-nya pas lagi season 12, pas RRQ pulang ke duluan apa yang lawan BTR kalah.
Jadi memang
Pas di Jakarta.
pas di Jakarta, berarti jauh-jauh juga tuh pergi.
Iya, aku dari Cirebon ke Jakarta juga nonton RRQ.
Demi nih ya. Tapi boleh dong, mungkin ini kan saatnya kalian untuk menunjukkan cinta kalian, menunjukkan seberapa cinta kalian. Boleh langsung ingin mau disampaikan sesuatu atau mau ngajakin kingdom di seluruh dunia untuk jatuh cinta juga?
Ya buat kingdom yang di luar maupun yang di dalam stake, ya jangan lupa lah dukung RRQ biar bisa juara di M6 sama juara di MPL Indonesia.
Ridwan, saatnya kamu semangatin nih tim RRQ. Let's go!
Salam buat RSI Bahari Korn yang dari Tegal yang sedang mengadakan nobar di Warmindo Hita. Itu aja udah.
Buat RRQ-nya yang mau main
Buat
nih?
RRQ tetap semangat lah, fokus, riset semuanya pokoknya game ini. Kita sikat abis sisanya.
Sikat habis.
Betul sekali. Terakhir, kalau kan ini sudah pasti masuk nih ke M6 di Malaysia. Bakal ikut ke Malaysia nggak nih untuk dukung tim tersayang?
Ya kalau ada rezeki pasti bakal ke sana sih.
Kalau Dita sendiri?
Aku udah ada niatan mau ke Malaysia.
Wow, fans setia sekali untuk RRQ. Dan kita harap yang terbaik ya pastinya untuk hasil hari ini. Terima kasih banyak Kak Ridwan dan Kak Dita.
Ya udah.
Betul,
sama-sama.
kita semua akan langsung melihat bagaimana Best of Seven ini akan berlangsung. Tapi sebelum itu kita akan langsung ke panelis mencari tahu seperti apa game kedua akan berlangsung. Inilah dia, RRQ dan juga tim Liquid ID. Game kedua.
Thank you so much, Budek Lara Mongstar, as well as Alyssa for that, cute interview with the fans on stage and in the venue. Man, I swear I have not seen the venue this packed.
Fair enough, it's the grand finals.
Not this packed. Nuh-uh.
Hey,
Come on, it's
All the
MPL
way
ID.
outside. I think this is one of our, well, no, not technically, but it is one of our biggest venues that we've had.
Is it? Wait, actually? Wait.
One of.
if you include the MPL festival, it's
It's like packed outside too.
I mean, would you count like M4? Because I think that would technically be the biggest.
Ooh.
I am knocking the ball out of the park here and setting unreal standards. But I will say it's a little jarring for me because I come from MPL MY, right? Stages like this is ridiculous. Like I used to complain a lot about Homeboys fans and Vamos fans being extra loud. This is ridiculous. They had 2 sets of parades walk in.
I mean, it's bound to be a good day, when that happens,
I'm
right?
just
It
glad
sets
I'm
the
not casting.
vibes. Oh yeah, you're right.
When they were walking in, I'm pretty sure they couldn't even hear each other, and I'm sure because of that, it is kind of set the tone amongst the fans.
Yeah,
it's that crazy.
it is.
Wild. Intense.
Does it make you-
Intense? Does that, wait, are those synonyms that would describe when you're drinking a good day, maybe?
If I'm having a good day, I'll be drinking good day, all right? It's ready to drink. The coffee is in a 3-in-1 ready-to-drink bottled coffee with a variety of flavors as well, including fantastic mochaccino, original cappuccino, tiramisu bliss, and avocado delight. And we actually tried the groovy cookies. Magnificent.
Yeah.
Magnificent. So this good day, ready to drink coffee is perfect to enjoy while you guys are gaming with your friends, because every day is a good day with good day. Yeah.
GG, good day.
GG.
GG, good day.
Every
Thank
single
you.
time.
Get in, Donnie. Good day.
That's actually really cute.
It's not that cute.
That is super cute.
It's not. No.
I don't think cute is right for
it
the
cute, guys?
precise term.
Where do I fit in?
GAG.
Gag?
GAG.
The gag duo. Trio, sorry.
Trio.
I meant trio.
GAG.
Keep your BL fantasies to yourself, woman. Okay, look, we've got professional things
Oh, yeah.
to do on our
I
hands
forgot.
here because honestly, considering considering that how everything has been kind of playing out, and honestly, even your regular season MVPs have been looking good. Coming into these playoffs here, at this point of time, like I cannot figure out who's going to get the MVP.
That's a big question, right? Season 1, it was Watt. Season 2, we have I Am Jago, Udil Rect, Vin, Albert, Luminaire. Oh, Luminaire, he got...
Season 7.
Oh, interesting. Okay, CW, we have Clay, Kyrie, Sans, Keyboy, and then CW. So, I mean, for the most part, it's always been from, Fnatic Onyx and RRQ. But the big question is, who will it be for this, upcoming grand finals, right? Okay, let's say RRQ wins, and let's say TLID wins. So let's talk from each one, seeing as we've seen the progress that they've, undergone through the playoffs, as well as our first game in this grand finals.
I mean, it's a finals MVPs, right? We can't really see their playoff
Yeah, just, a little bit of
I'll indulge.
A guess.
I'll play around.
Okay.
RRQ, I really like Tsutsujin. RRQ, I really like Tsutsujin.
I'm going to say Idok. I think despite being the rookie, I think he is one impactful player. He's one of those players where it's like, oh, if he
RRQ,
I think he is one impactful player. He's one of those players where it's like, oh, if he's doing bad, most people aren't going to even think twice about him. But then it's too late, because when he makes like a 5-man ult or something crazy out of nowhere, or even his Franco hook, right? I think that alone is enough.
Nightmare. You're gonna stick with Tsutsujin?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Me? Oh, I've never been asked back. This feels new, guys. Thank you.
Blushing.
Oh, I feel important. RRQ, I think I would go for... Oh, it's tough. Okay, just reflecting from game number 1.
You got a lot of good options here. I think, even Skylar has probably a pretty decent chance at it as well. He's been playing pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's Fabian or Witty.
For both of you guys?
Yehezkiel.
Yehezkiel!
I think he is the missing piece to both Witty and Fabian. Without Yehezkiel, I think both Witty and Fabian probably will be at each other's throats.
So you guys have included me in this conversation.
Yes.
Let's include the audience in this conversation too. Not about the MVP, finals MVP, but rather how can RRQ, it's okay, we'll go back to that later. But how can RRQ equalize in game number 2? According to you guys, statistics show 45% give Skylar space to farm. All right, so let's talk about that. Did we think that Skylar was not given space to farm? We'll start with you, Gunny.
We'll have the 2 things, right? Space to farm, meaning the other 4 distracting the, like going to the other lane so that, yeah, he has space, quote unquote, to farm, or someone babysits him, quote unquote, a lot, rotating towards the gold lane a lot to have space to farm. Either way, I feel like it's hard against the LID.
I'll say right now, 68% of the audience is wrong. Because they need to be aware, specific. Now, let me preface.
I like this.
Aran, beware of Aran's aggression. It's not because he is aggressive, but what does that tell you? If somebody in lane is low and they start walking up to you, does that not seem suspicious? Like, you're already winning the lane, but he's still walking up to you. That means a gank is imminent. I think that RQ need to figure out what some of Aran's patterns are, because I think he's got some pretty dead giveaway tells about how he plays the game and what that could signal for the rest of his team.
This is the first time that I've been on a panel, and one of my panelists
Hello
is
guys,
like, no,
don't forget to like and
this.
subscribe.
Guys, keep on disagreeing.
This is Mobile Legends game.
Look. It's not that I entirely disagree.
Doing
I just think that
Watchparty
it's
of
Okay, I like it.
You sure?
Yeah, it opens
Please don't
discussion.
forget to like and
right?
subscribe.
Let me just check if my Instagram's still around.
I didn't say that, guys. That wasn't Eternal.
The
Okay,
genuine fear.
back to this. So now, coming into game number 2, we do see that there is a difference in side selection election. RRQ will now be on a blue side.
Blue side.
Instead of red side. And remember, we were talking about this, the fact that they forced a Matilda ban in the first phase for blue side for TLID, but now that RRQ are the ones on blue side, how do you think this is going to change the scene and scope of the first phase?
Before we answer that, you guys follow the same system, right? If one team, it's coin toss and then the losing team decides which
Yes.
side
Yes.
they are.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
perfect.
Yes.
So that means that I would imagine that Kescute is probably thinking, okay, now that we know for a fact that they can play chip, we can go back to the standard of drafting where blue side is mostly dominant, which RQ does a very good job at, right? I think right now, if TLID want to stand a chance in this upcoming game in the draft, they need big tempo breakers because I can only assume that RQ is going to set up to get Suyo for themselves.
Tempo breakers, i.e. Cho, if possible. Tempo breakers, i.e. Ruby, if open, or if it accommodates the composition as well. I mean, now with TLID second pick, I see Yves being the hero that might go and fall to the hands of TLID. Does RQ have the response to that? Maybe the Valentina for Rins.
Oh, that's actually a really good point because technically, Yves has been doing really, really well for all teams who have picked it up so far. Wait, are they still 100% win rate?
Game one,
Yves?
RQ, they lost.
They lost it, right? But
Nope.
TLID still 100%?
I think 80, 90 if not.
80, 90. If not, they dropped.
If not 100.
Oh, no. They definitely dropped one. Yeah. Okay, so that means what would they have to do? I think we need to start thinking about the other lying mages that could be played. Valentina, as Bonnie mentioned, is great. I also think that Lilia needs to be taken into consideration. One more, just because it got shown last game, has to be Farsa.
Farsa Rins.
Exactly, and that adds layers now, right? It's not just as straightforward as we once thought. It's no longer just Jushin, Yves.
That's
Yves,
right.
Lilia, Yves, Valentina, right? There's layers to it, but once again, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. Oh man, even TLID are going all out. It's not just the Kingdom here showing for their team, is showing up for their team, but the Cavalry is here to show themselves as well as we make our way to the drafting phase for game number 2 in this best of 7 series. This is the drafting phase presented to you by the official tournament smartphone Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. And let's take a look. The bans are already in place. RRQ on blue side. We have the Fanny Cho Hilda ban. TLID Chip and the Suyo. Talk to me about this, guys. Matilda?
They want the Matilda.
I don't know. This is what I was worried about, right? SQ, he's really smart. He's already thought about it. Tempo breakers, he got rid of the most important one, which is Cho, because they're setting up for assassins. They wanted to ban out the Fanny. I'm pretty sure they will always ban out the Fanny no matter what side. And St. DeLuca is like, okay, get rid of Chip, get rid of Cho, and now he has to make a really difficult decision. Do I still focus down on the assassins? No! Goes for early game aggression bans, huh?
He opened the Matilda for RRQ, and RRQ will gladly take it / deny it from the hands of Weedy Device. TLID, they will pick up the Yves and the Alpha, so they will deny the combination that, cheeky Matilda Alpha combo.
And so, does the Natan come to play here for RRQ?
I think that's, I think they should pick up the Natan, or if not, they might explore the Focus, perhaps the Bane. Yeah, they are going to prioritize the jungler here, because if you remember upper brackets, Bane was always banned in second phase from the side of TLID.
Yeah, but also Bane makes it really annoying specifically for Yehezkill on this Eve, because now every time you drop the RWM, you are put on a timer when the deadly catch is coming at you. You want to get as much damage as you want to, but you're not going to get the full extent of your ult.
It's my way.
Wait, does the Deadly Catch cancel the real manipulation?
It doesn't, but you don't want to eat the damage.
Right.
You don't want to be put to 1 HP because of one shark.
All right. So Ixia here gets banned by TLID.
Very smart.
Yeah, I mean, TLID actually brought the Ixia yesterday, but it does seem like TLID knows that RQ that definitely can rock this Ixia. They do not want to give that opportunity to RQ though. It seems like they will ban out bodies, right? Hero for Iran, I think that will be their main priority.
I have a big question. Do you think the Angela might surface here for TLID? We've seen TLID fight support with support before.
As a last
If
pick?
not that, Rafaela?
As a last pick.
Yes.
I think that is going to be the case, and Barat, as expected, right? EXP laners will be the target of Ron. No Hilda, no Barat, no Khalid.
I think there's not much of a winning matchup here, because right now Phobius does pretty well into most things, even against the Ruby to a certain extent, but it's a skill matchup, right? Also, one more thing that needs to be taken into consideration for the EXP is whether or not they need to like get their hands on something that can slow things down, right? Maybe even play a Terizla here still to kind of keep them in place and force out ultimates, or they go straight into the CC and just purely focus on winning the lane.
Oh, the CC, I like that. But RQC, it seems like they are, now they don't want to deal with the heavy spins that Akai can't produce. TLID, well, they should just pick up the EXP here. What EXP? Rock? Is that the desperate play? Is that the only play?
They can go X-Borg if they wanted to.
X-Borg. High loss. I forgot about the high loss, but
I think high loss is kind of like mid here, only because I don't think it's a bad here. I think by all intents and purposes, it's great, and that's why it's in the meta. But against Bane, against Matilda, that's where it gets a little bit iffy. If they add one more layer to it, a means to kind of slow them down on the Glorious Pathway, or even just taking up a Valentina for themselves, it kind of just evens out the draft anyways.
So Valentina is definitely on the board here. So again, real world relation, perhaps here of Alpha can be stolen, but no, they are going for that Juicin and the Irithel, most likely with Sprint.
Okay, so the signature Irithel for Skylar does pop up here, but this is a Jushin pick into a Yves that has been quote-unquote the theoretical counter.
Angela, no. Support v support.
I feel like this last pick might not necessarily matter. Because looking at RQ's composition, it's push and pull, right? It's all
Ruby.
I think they need a stronger initiation tool, but then most of them have already been banned.
So you don't have
Is it a Grok?
Yeah,
there you go.
All right.
Yeah, so it ends up Saint Lucas decided instead of going for a full dive composition, tell you what, let's just change it back up. We're also going to play the push and pull. So this game is going to be very adaptable. Both teams are going to be playing a very strategic game of ping pong where they're going to be rallying against each other. And once we get into the late game, that's when we see the very big smashes where Phobius comes in, Deadly Catch even, and even the RWM. So we need to see that evolution of the ping pong into the tennis and then the tempo breakers.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Let's see. I think TLID with that draft, we might see a 1-1.
Oh, okay. Okay, the bold statement here from the panel, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna see exactly how this ping pong tennis match proceeds between both of these teams as we throw it over to our casters for game number 2.
Game number 2 on the cards. TLID, they have 1 foot in the castle of the kingdom. But now it is the time for the kingdom to once again reinstate their oppression.
Gonna stake their claim to try and get that early game dominance. We were expecting something completely different, man. With the bans showing up earlier, we thought an assassin was gonna show up. But once again, it's a jungle, utility jungle, fighter jungle showdown here. And Fabian and Sysogen both duking it out. But now it's a very different approach. RRQ seem to be doubling down on that early game option.
This Irithel is picked, right? And we saw it. Skylar yesterday with the Matilda and the Irithel playing around. Don't you think it's situational? But before that, the emblems, Rashi.
Ooh. Well, Litho taken by Fabian there. Emblems by Andy Home showing the tenacity for Yehezkiel, respecting the aggression coming in. Darren with the agility and the Festival of Blood, so he's trying to play that massive frontline role, but ooh, duel.
This is the thing, it's still a skill matchup in the bottom lane, man. It's not entirely a win for the Irithel. You do have an advantage, in a way, for poke and wave clear, but Aaron can do what he's doing best, laning.
Yeah. Back to my question, though. The Irithel-Matilda combo in this scenario, do you like it? I mean, sure, they have a high loss, they can charge at them, and as well as the Alpha, maybe, but oh, Skylar.
Good juke, but damage still. Oh, can't really ignore that. Skylar almost taken down, has to pop in sprint. Sysogen rotating over, has a deadly catch. Witty bit down by the Sharks.
Wow, out of nowhere, Sysogen playing it aggressive, matching the Alpha, getting the gold buff as well. And on top side, even with Aran trying to be sneaky,
RRQ will
avoid
going
laning,
all out
cutting
in
the
this
wave,
game.
Dairon actually came in to punish him, kind of equalizing the situation. Looking kind of okay for RRQ, but the big moment is this turtle fight. Can they actually get it done? A lot of zoning tools for RRQ. It's tankier frontline technically, but Team Liquid has a lot of damage and a lot of true damage at that, and more sustain.
Yeah, TLID, they want to contest this. Turtle. And Yeskiel already level 4, has the RWM to just push them away. But now Rin's coming in.
Crimson Beacon, a flicker backwards as well. Fabian with the Spear of Alpha over to Rins. Now the glorious pathway to the back as well. Now he's giving the Infernal Pursuit all the way to Witty. Jin able to utilize the distraction to go for it. Rins still able to escape. Witty very low. Dairon on the chase. Infernal Pursuit from Dairon. And he gets the kill down. Aran is next on the chopping block. And it's RRQ with an amazing win in the first turtle fight.
They strike hard and the cavalry off their horses. 3 kills in 3 minutes, and they get the turtle as well.
We've seen this before, dude. The Tsushin, deceptively tanky and doing a lot of damage, a lot of distraction in the early game, diving to the back line. It was looking so weird, so wonky, and we've seen it go wrong before, but it worked out right there, and Dairon on the Phobius, man, putting it down. RRQ doing a great job utilizing this strong pick that they first picked, but now can they maintain it? Can they find more?
And now the Rafaela pick right in the hands of Witty. Yesterday, Key picked it up as well.
Let's
Now
see,
it's in the hands
guys,
of
let's
Witty.
see
What are
what's
the comparisons you could
next.
draw in this composition, at least, to fight off RRQ?
Oh, whoa, wait, what?
Witty pops the flicker. Okay.
Every time I ask a question, something happens, but that is not what I expected.
You need a certain ego from Edok to kind of get information, trying to find control, and with that moment, with that exchange of resources, they're gonna go for the third goal. But look at this!
Oh, Crimson Beacon, Witty gunned down again. Rins with the Lantern Flare. Aaron going to enter Entropy, and now it's gonna be Fabian with the flanks as well. The Spear of Alpha able to find another kill over. It's 2 for 2. Fabian caught in the bad spot. Sutsujin does a bit too much damage. Now Yehezkiel against Rins, flicker out, and Yehezkiel gets the kill. 3 for 3 at the end of the day.
Comfort zone for RRQ. They're able to dive into the tier 2 turret and force a fight into Team Liquid ID's waiting hands. RRQ, is this the lead they're looking for, Arashi?
It was looking so good. I thought the tower was definitely gonna fall, but they kind of overextended a bit. Team Liquid ID, the fact that they were able to actually get somewhat of an equal trade there is definitely concerning. But right here, there's so much control over the turtle. You can see Fabian immediately just going for the clear, going for the other resources available on the map. But look at the duo on the top side.
Yeah, 1v1. They run with a flicker. That's a mistake. Skylar will capitalize on that mistake. A solo kill. Dairon all alone. Able to flicker out of the Holy Baptism, but you cannot flicker out of the glorious pathway. TL will get a trade.
What is it with Team Liquid ID and their flickers in game number 2? That was a miscalculation from Matt on Chicky.
It certainly came out of nowhere. And looking at the items here, whoa, hang on a minute, 1v1.
Deadly catch now, the spear versus the shot, Sutsujin soloed! Fabian getting the shutdown now, getting the Lantern Flare to throw him back around. Fabian traded back again.
Wow, that's Sutsujin 3 and 0 taken out by Fabian though. So they're both having 3 kills, but in theory, Fabian shouldn't be able to win it out there. And from that engagement there, Skylar also wasn't able to get the turrets. So both teams are hanging on to their early game objective very well.
Yeah, the baptism again whipping this time around. Aaron Chicky has the entropy backwards. Circling Eagle, knocking him up. Aaron very low, and now the Lantern Flare on him. Skylar with a heavy crossbow takes them down under the tier 1 up top.
The power of the Irithel Matilda combo. This time around, the Crown Prince has company.
And even with the Has Cross, there's no need for Skylar to go back. He can stay on the map indefinitely. No mana cost. RRQ are using it as pressure. They're gonna for sure be able to get the tower on the top side. But even on the bottom side, Sutsujin being very active here. Which one will Team Liquid actually move towards?
Well, one will have to address the wave created by Sutsujin down bottom, but this just gets scarier for Team Liquid ID. But in this scenario, Arashi, in this sort of circumstance, can they still bank on an attack?
I think they definitely still can. That's a lot of damage.
That's disgusting.
Oh man!
That's
just spoken away.
That's just one war axe, man. Around in the back now, looking for it. Oh, Spear of Alpha missing the glorious pathway. Dodged away from now the circling eager to go on to Aran. Meanwhile, Tyrant in the back, forcing real world. Appalachian will be shredded down, and it will be a trade 1-for-1. But Witty picks the kill. It's an XP for an XP. RQ get all the turtles in game 2.
I think the big deciding factor here is the fact that both frontliners, the Hylas and the Phobias, one can kind of delay you, right? The Hylas is too beefy to kind of push through, but the Phobias can actually take you out, having a lot more damage built into the kit. So now RRQ can actually be a bit more aggressive because they know that Dyron, however you want to spin it, becomes a bigger threat compared to Aran on the Hylas. And that single advantage is allowing them to just control more ground. But again, Team Liquid have that late game.
Circling Eagle, Aran, no vengeance this time around. The Holy Baptism, again from Witty, only landing onto Dyron.
Yeah, and the Phobias can somehow skip the high loss as well, right? You could practically target the backline of TLID indefinitely as E-Dog just opens up the map for RRQ. Now the question becomes for TLID, how do they want to deal with this Phobias, Arashi?
You just have to wait until they get a bit more damage, but even then, with the Vengeance, it's going to be difficult, so they have to kind of play the back and forth. That is what we theorized earlier with that Rafaela pick. They wanted movement speed, but look at Rins.
Crimson Beacon, Aran still trying to go for the defense in the mid lane, pops into the glorious pathway and dives all the way to the back. TLID, is this a mistake? The Holy Baptism catches on the Skylar. Oh, Dyron's free hitting. Now, 2 fights going on. Dyron able to get that Infernal Pursuit, Fabian very low. The chase around Shiki! Again with the flicker forward, only to get gunned down by Skylar.
The Stallion misses his flicker yet another time. RRQ, all hands on this game.
6,000 gold advantage. Is this a mental block you're talking about, Mirko? Playing the Natan against the infamous Natan in the PLID. A lot of moments here where it seemed so close yet so far. Skylar on this Irithel that really shouldn't be doing so well. 5-1 and 5. The mobility allowing him to just be so aggressive.
Holy Baptism, no, under the terminal. Skylar now makes a mistake. Gets caught by the real world manipulation. And TLID, they'll have an advantage. Skylar shut down 20 seconds. And it will be a Lord that is in the Lanadon, up and ready.
Mistakes after mistakes, both from the marksmen of their respective teams playing today. Now the Lord, though, they want to blitz it, but I think they're just waiting for Skylar to respawn to get even more source of damage.
Oh, that burst, man. Circling Eagle, forcing the vengeance out now. Deadly catch, Witty! Disappears straight to the back now with the Crimson Beacon. Able to get some damage down as Fabian goes in, gets rid of the back as well. Here on Shiki with the entropy forward. Fabian slices through Dyron. Yes, Teal gets the kill back, but Sutsa Jin shoots Aran down. Another 2 for 2. Skylar back online. Heavy crossbow onto Fabian. Will use the Spear of Alpha defensively, but the Circling Eagle to the back will be able to find 2. Aaron getting gunned down. The heavy crossbow is too much for Aaron to handle. And the Kingdom again are able to make it work.
Team Liquid ID overzealous. They saw that momentum. They saw the mistake from Skylar. They thought that they had that Lord for sure, but they overstayed. RRQ were able to find a relatively equal trade, and the moment Skylar returns, that was a signal to retreat, but the cavalry just did not notice it.
Wow! Almost just one-shotted.
What is the damage?
Yikes! A lot of damage from the Kingdom. They're angry. They don't want to give up their throne that easily. They don't want the castles to be usurped by the Stallions now. Aaron Shiki 1-5 as the Natan. Is there still a late game angle?
If it goes long enough, there's definitely a late game angle. At 10 minutes, 6,000, we saw that Geek Time were able to come back from such a deficit, but RRQ, what is the plan here to crack open the base? This is the Nathan Eve combo with the Hylas. They do have Siege, they have the Irithel, but the Mage, it's a Sushin. What's the plan here for Kescue to really crack open this base? It might be some kind of dive.
Yeah, it's more of a zoning mage with the Zeusin, right? You want the CC to keep on going, but the Lord will blitz and march forward.
Lord in the bottom lane. No, first Lord, so should be able to defend this again. It's a Yve and a Natan combination. Last time we saw, I would think it was day 1. Fnatic Onyx having a 12,000 gold lead, but struggling to end against a Natan and a Yve.
Now we talk about it, right? The Natan and the Yve. 2 of the best base heroes for defense in this patch, in the playoffs at least. Will RQ be able to topple down that
RRQ
foundation?
is going to win this game.
Man,
Definitely.
we'll have to see. Looking at the items right now, already the glowing one and the divine glaive. So he's Yehezkiel here, not playing to shred the front line. He knows the Iron's gonna be taking up too much damage, too much sustain. He's gonna focus more on having burst damage available in case Skylar makes a mistake, in case Weedy finds a great great stun onto Skylar. He can just follow up and deal a ton of burst damage. For Iron Shiki, it's only about scaling up here. Holy Crystal almost completed. It's gonna be a massive spike. But the Radiant Armor is completed for Dyron. So again, it's kind of neutralized for a bit. Maybe one more item will be required before Team Liquid ID can really claim to have that shredding potential.
Yeah, he has his Holy Crystal ready for Aaron Shiki. Now the big problem is he able to exert the damage? Because the problem is he has been overextending and creating, minute plays that is not necessary. Flickering forward with the entropy as well. That has been the criticism towards him since yesterday, even since 2 days ago in that match against Bigatron Alpha as well. Now it is a matter of how he will hold himself when the time comes.
Now this is a delicate situation for Team Liquid ID. RRQ, just want to get the Lord, try and get some structures, that's fine. But Team Liquid ID, if they fail here, if they falter and lose their front line, there's a lot of ground that RRQ can chase them through, and there's a ton of mobility available for them.
Yeah, this Lord is important. 7.9k gold lead in hands of RRQ. They look to even subjugate TLID further. They look for the zone, and here goes the Circling Eagle.
They spot Faven in the bush. Spear of Alpha, eat up. Able to flicker out, but whoa, the healing's there. Dyron with the flicker, finding 3, and now Skylar gets rid of all of them in the back. Shuts it in with the red tree, and the Kingdom, they will take the fight here in the second Lord fight of the game. Skylar is a goddamn maniac.
The Crown Prince might look for the Savage, but it's way too far. Yehezkiel still riding into the dying night, but the Kingdom is here. They wanna reinstate their oppressiveness towards the cavalry.
A lot of damage, a lot of burst. Yehezkiel going for the play.
RWM on the Skylar, very low with the Wishing Lantern, but again now in front of pursuit, the demonic force onto them. RRQ will level the game, will level the series in a best of 7. It is 1-1.
Woo! The Kingdom, they will not go down without a fight. 1-1. They equalize the score.
RRQ wins
TLID.
singly.
The revolution still on
Scarlet
hold.
plays well, very well.
Wow, what a recovery from RRQ. We saw
This is comeback
the draft,
from
we kind
RRQ.
of doubted it. It didn't seem to connect.
The comeback
Maybe that's exactly what
we need in the
RRQ
game.
wanted. Who needs connections when you approach the fight from 4 different angles? What was that last fight? Before Team Liquid understood, they were charging into an ambush.
They were running to the back line. They had their target. They had their eyes on the Crown Prince. But his soldiers, his army, protected him. And RRQ at least, again, that fight, that spirit is still there.
Ooh, man. I'm seeing great moments from Team Liquid ID still, but RRQ somehow, they're able to just maneuver around the expectations. So many times you saw.
Masih akan terus berlanjut. Best of 7, 2 sudah terpakai. Sekarang kita sudah akan masuk ke best of 5.
Tapi best of 5, walaupun mungkin dari segi strategi iya, tapi mentalitas yang digembleng. Tapi aku ngeliat dari tim Liquid ID, mereka dalam keadaan tertinggal, banyak banget gerakan-gerakan yang ngilu. Flicker 2 kali dari Aaron Shiki, itu dipanis dengan mahal oleh RRQ Hoshi. Kalkulasi damage yang maksimal. Skylar bawa RRQ samakan kedudukan di game yang kedua. Dan itu adalah satu kontra yang dialami oleh tim Liquid ID. Kalkulasi mereka. Flicker yang ternyata damage-nya nggak nyampe. Dan juga nggak bisa nahan. Sampai akhirnya mereka harus terpeleset sendiri.
Dan di akhir tadi, di last fight-nya, ada entropi yang memang sudah dikeluarkan duluan. Dan itulah yang benar-benar dimanfaatkan oleh pemain dari RRQ. Mereka pintar banget untuk mencari celah. Mereka lakukan semua.
Those miscalculations.
Yeah.
And fighting with an 8,000 gold deficit. Fighting when clearly the power spike has been kind of delayed for the time. They got the Holy Crystal and they thought this was still a normal 11-minute game. Still a normal 12-minute game. No, it's a game with an 8,000 gold lead. They didn't defend. They just went for a fight.
Well, panelist desk, break it down for us.
Thank you, casters. What an amazing comeback by the Kings of Kings RRQ to equalize this to 1-1. And obviously in the grand finals, we wouldn't expect anything less from both of these teams, but we have got to talk about this game. Man, I completely agree with the casters, especially Miracle bringing up the point that TLID made a lot of mistakes, and RRQ, being the strong team that they are, completely capitalized over them.
This is the thing, right? We mentioned that TLID, they're a team that is addicted to the rush, but they're behind, so they need to keep their addiction to that rush. When they're behind, they need to, just slow down their pace.
Rein it in.
RRQ, they got the early game, they got all the newts, important fights as well. Yeah, of course they want to push the pace. TLID, they need to tone it down when they're behind, especially Euron and Natan, who got the Holy Crystal minute 12.
Yeah, I think the worst part about all of this is had the team just kind of kept even against RRQ, this would have been a very different story here. But like multiple times we see that Aaron Shiki tries to go for this 1v1 early against Skylar and misses just one ability, makes one singular mistake. Because had he shut down Skylar early on in this lane, he probably would have been able to be more effective in fights like this, for an example, trading maybe 2 people before the double kill happens.
It's again, from the draft, we know that the Rafaela, sure, it's good. It adds mobility, it adds sustainability. But yeah, that's why RRQ, they know they just want to push the tempo from the get-go. They can overwhelm them with mobility with the Matilda as well. And we saw how multiple times as well, the guiding win came into clutch, saving Sutsujin, saving Skylar, and with Sprint as well, Skylar is able to mobilize very, very fluidly in the Land of Dawn.
So we're going to see who gets crowned the MVP or the player of the game for game number 2, presented by the official tournament smartphone Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. We talked about Yudok, we talked about Skylar, but let's talk about Dyron now, as he's able to claim this title for our second game. What did he do to deserve this title?
Get his hands on Phoveus is just so good for what he is required to do. Because again, at the beginning of the game, I told you, these compositions, it's going to be a constant push and pull between the both of them. They're both baiting each other out. But the beauty of this Phoveus is that I could make a mistake and I press one button and I basically buy myself 0.5 seconds worth of time every single time he taps that ult. And he can effectively do it as many times as he wants to because he has Edok as a way to bail him out of tough spots. So it's interesting because for me, I thought maybe he was gonna go, if he had full faith in Edok, he would have taken a vengeance. But with the flicker, it makes him very flexible, but it also could potentially punish the Natan. He takes the entropy, goes all the way to the backline. You flicker, passive mark him, and then instantly initiate.
And again, you mentioned initiate. Without Dyron here, multiple fights, there's no point of initiation without the Phoveus, right? You have the Matilda that can't really initiate. You're just there to cover. You got Skylar who will protect his position. Dyron was the sole potential initiator in this game, and he played that to a T. It does seem like TLID, they got ahead of themselves. They weren't really ready in this position, and they took the fight, which cost them the game.
Which is why I think what Gideon said was very important, right? He mentioned that technically RRQ don't really necessarily need the tools to initiate. All they needed to do was work around and trust that TLID are a team at the moment that can't hold themselves back, right? There were so many moments that they were so behind, they didn't have the necessary skills available, equipment available, the gold available, the items available, and yet they still wanted to go in for these engages. And RRQ, they were very happy to just get and receive it on a silver platter.
I think, overall, Skylar, the fact that he was able to find kills in his lane, would I say it's an outplay? Maybe the first one was the outplay. The second one, probably not. The onus was definitely on Aaron Cheeky, and all the kills afterward definitely were Skylar. He's ending this game 11-2-5.
Maniac, by the way.
Maniac skipped his boots, went straight into the Haas Claw, and played purely off of the timing of his sprint, which is, again, very bold of him, right? Not everybody is comfortable doing this as well. But in that mindset, right, because your scaling hero has already kind of caught up very fast to the item power spikes of everybody else, like Dyren, for example, when he got just the Thunderbelt alone, you could just see if people are focusing on that Phoveus, Irithel gets a free access into that backline. And honestly, if I'm in TLID's position, I'm thinking that by the 5th, 6th minute, our two biggest problems is Phoveus as well as this Bane on Sutsujin.
And it's evident in that game, right? Sutsujin getting the important fights, sustaining in most of that team fights as well. And that Zushin is so annoying, Gideon. And also, why? I can't touch on the draft. Remember, Keskin banned out the Hilda. Against Zushin, the Hilda would do so much. It would get so much value. And that's why Keskin, he wants the Zushin, and that's why he banned the Hilda out. So that Rins can focus on elsewhere instead of hovering around looking for Hilda in the jungles of Sutsujin.
Oh, come on, Skylar. 945 GPM. I guess it did make sense, right? He got to that power spike so quickly, on top of the mistakes that Aaron made.
I mean, if he didn't
Talk
twice...
to us about that, right?
Well...
You think it would have hit 1K?
It would have if he didn't die twice. Because that was a huge shutdown when he overextended. He was like, all right, Edok, take me out. Edok. No! And Aran just stuns him before he gets it and dies to the RWM. Like, there's only so much you can really do. And honestly, this isn't even Skylar's highest score of yet. This game was going very well for them, but at the same time, I hope to see that Team Liquid ID is going to take blue side for this upcoming game. And RRQ Hoshi, I want to see some innovative ideas for red side. Because again, now that we've kind of like taken away the identity of these teams and gone back to the standard meta which we're used to, blue side has a huge advantage of predetermining what kind of a draft is going to be coming out for the game.
Really shows that the blue side really dictates the draft. And first big value seems like the Matilda is just popping off. Also, Team Liquid Game 1 blue side, they picked up the Matilda and it really supplements their victory. On the other side, red side here, yeah, that last big value, not really showing in the series.
Which is why this is such an incredible matchup. Because notoriously, even if, let's say, TLID gets red side, if they let the Matilda go on blue side, not a lot of teams can actually utilize the Matilda to how well Weedy as well as Edok utilize it. Because yesterday with Bigatron Alpha, Key picked up the Matilda, but the impact just wasn't the same.
Yeah, it's a different mindset here, right? It really boils down to how connected you are with the rest of your team when you are playing that Matilda. You want to be able to like communicate, oh, I could save you, without having to say that verbally. It's a kind of like a sixth sense almost.
Chemistry comes into play as well, all right? Communication, coordination, and RQ, they got the better coordination in that game. They know what to do. They press the right buttons as well. TLID, slow things down. All right, I think that's just my recap for TLID. RQ, keep doing what you're doing. KSQ, believe in you.
I think I have a slightly differing opinion on this one.
Oh.
I think TLID need to play an early game composition right now. Because I think that honestly, Aaron Chiki is doing pretty good against Skylar. He made a couple of mistakes, but he was like, it's Natan versus Irithel. It's like a 1 auto worth of difference between the two heroes at equal level, at equal items. So, this is the lane phase, of course. So, if you play something a little bit more lane focused, I think he's got a very good chance, and it might actually force Skylar to play something a little bit more on the scaling half of the thing, the scaling half of the marksman spectrum.
Yeah. I agree, but also TLID need to be able to adapt from that. Like, you can't just be able to play with an early game comp and utilize that to that feels so one-dimensional, Gideon.
No, it's not one-dimensional. I think there's a lot of beauty in early game aggression because it builds up to something big. And honestly, it builds up to something bigger than all of us, some may say.
Wait. Are you talking about... I like how he's mentioning big things.
Yeah.
Okay,
Building to
phrasing.
something big.
Bigger.
Guys,
better.
Greater
Than ever.
Thanks for watching,
Don't
guys.
even.
Have a